What is up, YouTube? Kruxay here. So, you've decided you're going to move to Japan. Someday, one day, tomorrow. Great. So now you're probably wondering what the hell you're going to do next. What challenges will you face? In today's video, I'm going to go over 5 points to help solidify your decision and help make it happen. Of course, I'll be using a little bit of my own experiences moving over here back in 2012, and hopefully that will help add some context. I would have shot this whole thing outside, but there's quite a lot of noise, especially considering the guy next door is getting his tree chopped. So yeah, kind of annoying. So I'm just gonna go inside instead. All right, so now that we're back inside, let's get started. Starting out with tip number 1, which is starting with perfecting your why. Perfecting your why you want to move to Japan. So you've decided that you want to do that, that's the want, but the why needs to be there as well. Now, I'm not here to question your why. It could be anything in the world, it could be whatever you want. It could be to spend your entire life in a micro pig cafe in Harajuku for all I care. The reason you absolutely have to nail your why is because, believe it or not, you will be faced with opposition from virtually everyone you know. Personally, I grew up with a fascination of Asian culture and in particular Japan from a very early age. I studied it in high school and university. I traveled here for vacation, and for those of you who have been following this channel since the dawn of time will also know that I was here for a 1-year exchange program as well, just to be sure I would absolutely love it here. But the moment that I said I was going to live here permanently, very few supported that decision, least of all my parents. This is not a knock against my parents or anyone's parents for that matter. My parents are the absolutely most supportive, loving people in the world. But when faced with your offspring moving 10,000 kilometers away or convincing them to stay, what would you do? It's a bit ironic, but those who are closest to you and care the most are usually those who want you to change the least. Do you have a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a spouse? They'll definitely try to talk you out of it. Friends that you hang out with every weekend, coworkers, colleagues, siblings, you name it. They'll probably all try to talk you out of it. For that reason, make sure your decision to want to move to Japan is ironclad, as these people, as much as they may care for you, will make you doubt your decisions and convince you to stay in your comfort zone when it comes to taking big risks in life. Tip number 2, get a timeline in place and prepare for everything to not go accordingly. Give yourself ample time. You can't pack up your entire life in a weekend move. Even if you do, there's likely going to be a lot of loose ends that are going to result in dragging you back. You will need a lot more time than you think to land a job, to tidy up your affairs, to prep your visa documents, to find a place, and to save, amongst many other things. I planned a year in advance and started looking for a job while completing my master's degree in Canada. And for those of you who are probably thinking, oh, now might be the absolute worst time to consider to move to Japan, remember that I was considering to move here in 2011, 2012, right in the middle of the Tohoku earthquake, or the 3/11 earthquake. That may seem like a small incident now in comparison to COVID-19, of course, but just imagine at the time how much ammunition that gave to my friends and loved ones to try and talk me out of the move. So that's why it's so important to have a solid why and a solid plan. Moving on to tip number 3, guys, and that is save, save, save. Take whatever number that you think you need and double it. I believe for things like working holiday, they advise you to have at least 5,000 USD in the bank before you head over. I would say to be comfortable and not absolutely freak out about a few months into being here, 10K at least is the bare minimum that I would advise. Startup costs here, just like anywhere, are pretty real, but in Japan it can be quite a bit more with things like key money and deposit on top of your rent. Can easily jack up your initial cost of living in the first couple months. I did not heed my own advice, and because my dumbass wanted to live in central Tokyo, I was paying crazy rent. And because of that, I was on a $15 a day budget for most of my first year in Japan. Going back to your plan, build in a way to pick up extra shifts at work, pick up a side gig, do whatever it takes to collect some extra cash, because it's going to go a long way once you move over here. Just taking a quick break here. 2 more really great tips coming up, including the number 1 tip. Thank you guys for watching so far, and if you've enjoyed this, please do leave a comment, like, and subscribe. It would mean a lot to me, and I'd really like to know if this kind of content is helpful for you guys. So please do leave a comment below. Thanks. Now back to the video. Tip number 4, line up a job before you get here. Typically to get your visa, you're going to need this, unless of course you're coming over on a working holiday visa, for example, or you're just ballsy enough to drop everything and come over here on a 3-month tourist visa. But do not think that you're just going to magically walk off the plane and it will be jobs galore over here. Although things have been getting better in recent years, Japan is a notoriously difficult market for non-Japanese or non-fluent speaking Japanese individuals to land a job. Gather information on where to land jobs from your university or college alumni. Head over to your Japanese consulate or embassy. Things like the Boston Career Forum or Gaijinpot are great resources if you're just starting out looking. All right, guys, tip number 5, this is the most important one, and that is get a friend or a mentor who is already doing what you want to be doing in Japan. This goes a long way in terms of motivation and support to get over here. Someone that you can look to for advice, and even better, someone you are close to who can even help you with getting set up over here. As the very wise Arnold Schwarzenegger said, there is no such thing as a self-made man.
I always tell people that you can call me anything that you want. You can call me Arnold, you can call me Schwarzenegger, you can call me the Austrian Oak, you can call me Schwarzi, you can call me Arnie, but don't ever call me a self-made man.
If you believe that you're going to make it here on your own without asking for help or advice or support from anyone, then good luck to you. Some of you may remember my good friend Fab, the Fab Star. He was my absolute lifeline to Japan. He came over about a year earlier and got himself established and set up in Japan. When I was making the final prep to come over in 2011, we would video chat almost weekly so that I could get support and advice from him. When I finally made it over here, he even let me crash on the floor of his tiny ass apartment in Shimokitazawa. So thank you so much for that, Fab. Good memories in that freezing cold apartment. In addition to letting me crash at his place while I established myself and got my own place, he also supported me in getting a job at the company he was working at as well. And we spent 5 glorious years working in the same company. But more on that in another video. That's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something today and you are now fired up to get your action plan and gear to get over to Japan, as you will need it. Respect if you've made it this far, and please do drop a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. If you're looking for something else to watch, check out these videos for some more Japan and Japanese learning related content, and I will see you guys in the next video.